let's talk about rendering and lighting. So again, clicking here, this is the light, and light. And just like everything else, you can hit Shift D and make another light. Now, down here in the light tab, you've got different options. Point is the regular one. Sun is going to do this. It's the sun, so it's super bright. So usually you have to lower it to like 5 or something. But I try to stay away from the sun unless it's a really big scene that, you know, is like outdoors or something, because you can get cool lighting like this. So before we get into any more lighting, I mean, that's pretty much it. Let's talk about Eevee. Not the Pokemon, but the rendering engine. So we've got Cycles and we've got Eevee. Cycles is like Pixar, like hardcore, super realistic. I mean, you can see the results are probably a lot better like this, but it uses way more processing power, and if you have a slower computer, it's going to scream and die. So let's just stick to Eevee, which is the same sort of rendering as like a game engine. It's meant to be in real time, and you can render things really fast this way. So right now it looks kind of plain. It's not that exciting. So there's a lot we can do. If you go here, here, the little camera icon, you've got all these settings for Eevee. So we're going to turn on ambient occlusion, we're going to turn on bloom, and we're going to turn on screen space reflections. I pretty much turn on those 3 every time. So you can see here the bloom is a little extreme. It looks kind of foggy. So I'm going to go down here and turn down the intensity just a little bit. We just want a little bit of bloom. Cool. I'm just going to do a couple more cards so that it looks pretty cool. All right. Nothing too fancy, whatever. It's all good. So one thing, this is like too perfect. It's too straight. They're all in line. So when you want to add like nice details, like you can move this down and, you know, rotate it a little bit. Just these little details can add a lot, because you'll never see cards just perfectly laid out on a table. That's not how the real world works. So next we're going to talk about the camera. Wait, where the hell did the camera go? Oh, there it is. Okay, the camera is like amazing. So this puts you into the view of the camera, and you could, you know, move the camera around and then go back into the camera view, and then, you know, oh, I need to adjust it. Or you can do this, which is a lot easier. To open up this tab is N, or you can click this little tiny arrow right here, and you want to go to view and lock camera to view. So now when you go into the camera, you'll see this red dotted line around it, and that means you can move the camera around the same way you move in the viewport. And when you get the camera where you want it, like let's say you want it like right here, so you get that nice shine, then you can uncheck that, or you can simply just click out of it, and when you go back, the camera will be there. So that's very useful. That's how I move the camera. It's the easiest way. Just to show you real quick, there is an alternate way that you can do, and this is something to know about Blender. See how it turns into a plus sign up here? If you click and drag, you open up a new tab. And what I can do here, if you hold the middle mouse button and scroll, let's send it back into rendered view. So let's get out of the camera. So here we're seeing what the camera sees, and here we're seeing just the normal viewport. But if I go in here and I move the camera, it moves it on both viewports. So this is probably the best way to animate the camera. But we'll get into animating in a different video. Now to close these, it's a little tricky sometimes, but when it goes to a plus sign, click and drag until you see this little arrow, and then let go. Sometimes you'll accidentally open another one, and then another one, and another one, but you'll get the hang of it eventually. All right, I'm gonna hit N to close this tool tab and get out of the camera. Okay, so we set the render settings in Eevee, but we also need to set the camera settings. So Eevee has enabled depth of field, but the camera doesn't actually have depth of field on. So what depth of field is it's really cool. Let me just show you. It's easier to show you than it is to try to explain. So just to prove my point, I'm going to add a cube. I'm going to move it closer. All right, so if we go to camera and click depth of field, it's not the best. Let's turn down the aperture so you can really see what it does. So here you can see the focus moves back and forth, so you get those really nice cinematics. Camera settings are a whole different thing to get into, but the f-stop controls like how much bokeh you get. And so here, you know, let's set it to 1.2. And if you move here, you can shift the focus to the cube and then to the aces back there and back. And you can actually animate the focus distance, which is really, really handy for doing animation, which again, we will get into another time. So if you want to practice setting up your scene, you can do that. Let's go ahead and delete this cube. So I'm gonna set mine up here. Now keep in mind, what is in the shadow outside of the box will not show up in your render. So keep that in mind. This is floating above the ground. We're gonna move that down. All right, so what's cool about 3D is you can adjust things however you want. So I like this composition, but the light isn't really doing me any favor. So I'm gonna grab the light and hit G to move it. Once again, these are not showing up. All right, so I'm gonna hit G to move it around. See, now we're getting some cool lighting. So I'm gonna put it there, and I'm gonna hit GY, GX, and then GZ to move it up. Maybe the cards are a little too shiny, but whatever, it's all good. So now if you want to render, there's two ways you can do it. But before we get into that, this is really, really important. I hate this about Blender, but it's just a necessary thing. Clicking here to output, you're going to go down to here, file format. PNG or JPEG is great for images, but if you do a video, it's gonna make a million versions of them. Depending on what you're working on, that can be great or not. Since we're doing an image, I'm going to do JPEG because it's a smaller file, and I'm going to put the quality to 100. Now the output, this folder right here is a mysterious folder somewhere on your hard drive, so if you don't want your file to go there, I would recommend just setting it to the desktop or creating a file folder on your desktop or somewhere where you can store all your renders. So I'm going to set it to desktop, and I'm going to call it cards and hit accept. Now this has not saved anything yet, it's just telling it where to go. So I'm realizing now my camera is a little too blurry, so I'm going to set this to 2.8 instead. And you know, for a first render, let's just call that good. So you can either go to render image, which will just render the image, or you can hit F12, which I'm going to do. So you hit F12, it opens up a new window, and you just wait a little bit, and Blender does its thing, and there you go, you've got a rendered frame. And that is everything you need to know about Blender. I'm calling that Blender 101. I know I went really fast and I didn't cover a lot of the stuff. Hopefully this makes sense to people. If there's anything you want to learn, anything that I missed, please leave it in the comments, or you can go to my website and send me an email via the contact form. Everything should be in the description box, but there's more tutorials to come. I'm going to cover Blender, Unreal, all sorts of stuff, but for now, this is what I got. So thank you guys so much, and I will see you in the next one.